Hello, everyone. Before the show starts, I just wanted to come on here and explain something about the show you're about to hear. So originally, the episode with RJ was intended to be a Patreon Friend Zone, which is the Friend Zone is the bonus podcast that I do for my Patreon subscribers. And then the same day that I recorded that one, I recorded an episode with my husband, which I had intended to be the Monday show. But then after I recorded both of them, I just had a feeling that I can't deny. And that feeling is the Patreon Friend Zone with RJ feels more like a Monday show, and the Daniel episode feels more like a Patreon Friend Zone. And I realize if you're new to me, these things mean nothing. But if you're old to me, these have meaning. So anyway, I just want to explain it because when you hear the episode, you'll notice that I use the language of introducing a Patreon Friend Zone. And I forget if I referred to it that way during the show as well. I probably did. And then the normal intro that you would hear for my show, which is very similar, my non-Patreon show, is just MIA. It is on a beach sipping a pina colada with its bathing suit up its butt, because that's how bathing suits are these days. So anyway, enjoy the episode. I feel that I'm making the right call. Now, you might hear it and you might say, that bitch has it all wrong. And if so, I welcome hearing that. I don't welcome hearing that, but I welcome hearing from you. So feel free to get in touch. Give me your thoughts. Make sure if you like what you're hearing, or even if you don't, subscribe to my podcast wherever you listen. Leave us a nice review. Click 5 stars. It helps out the show. I read the reviews on the show. Tell your friends. God, did I even mention all of my merch? I think I mentioned it once at the end, but guys, I have a lot of merch available now. So go check it out. It's in my merch store. We're talking t-shirts, mugs, stickers, tank tops, hoodies, hats, galore, and notebooks. I mean, a full suite of items, various designs. I'm excited about it because my merch had laid fallow or lied fallow. It was fallowed for so long. So go to AllisonRosen.com and click on the thing at the top that says new merch. You can't miss it. I mean, you could, but I don't think you will. Okay, anyway, here's the episode.
Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison, with her the good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison's your new best friend.
Hey everyone. Hi. Hello. Welcome to an exciting Patreon Friend Zone with return guest RJ City. Hello.
Hi. What makes this one exciting? Because I've been on quite a few times now.
Yeah, I know. And you're a polarizing figure.
Yeah. But no, I'm slowly winning people over.
I know.
Right?
Well, circa last time we talked, which I feel like was a while ago now. Things could have changed.
Well,
no, I think you are.
I was still brought up even when I wasn't on the show.
Yes, you were, because we got a lot of bang out of the sex thing. This is not a sex thing.
Oh, yeah. And unfortunately, so have I. I've had multiple people
bring it up to you.
Just write it on Twitter and say it to me in the middle of a conversation, and it's embarrassing. The poor woman.
Yeah.
Who took it all in stride.
She did. She posted it. She made hay with it too. I have a question though. But at first we should set the scene for people who don't know what we're talking about. And also there's a little thing bouncing on my computer, and let me just get it to go away. Okay. So you and Dalton were on an in-person episode. It was a Thursday show. Robin Shore was here. Yeah. Yes. You were very tired.
I was exhausted. I had not slept for 24 hours for sure, if not longer.
Yes. And I feel like I got to see a smidge of what I've heard Dalton primarily talk about, which is how you're just like an anxious, nervous wreck all the time.
Yeah, you didn't get a smidge of that before?
Not really, because I mean, I feel like I've heard you tell stories where you talk about having anxiety and which kind of hint at it. But I feel like when you came and we did our marathon session, you were like in good spirits.
Yeah.
You had gotten rest probably.
I was well rested.
Yes. Whereas when you came with Dalton, you arrived just like
late, first of all.
Yes. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
No, but you were just like shaking your head and you just looked like I've been through hell.
Yeah. And maybe the night before or 2 nights before that, I had this is the problem with Dalton, is that I enjoy being with him. And not to say that he's a bad influence, but I'm more likely to say yes to things if he is around and doing them with me.
Right.
And maybe, it had to be the night before, was one of like my yearly social outings.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know what? You're in LA. You don't hang out with these people. When are you going to see them again? And then within 2 hours, I'm quickly reminded why I only do this like once a year.
Now, I know a little bit of what happened, but what specifically are you referring to?
Well, we went to the show where I saw you, the Ring of Honor show.
Yes. Yes, where you physically ejected me from I was backstage for 90 seconds. I was like,
as to not
where I belong, whatever.
As to not pull focus from the match that was going on. Sorry,
right,
for respecting the performers.
Because all eyes in the arena were certainly on me over by whatever.
Well, you know when you go to a Broadway show and you sneak backstage during the show, you know how often that happens.
That's actually never happened to me. But I could imagine being annoyed.
Yeah, or you go to a baseball game and go to the dugout while the game is going on.
Again, also, I feel like people go to the dugout all the time during a baseball game.
While a fan going to the dugout while the game is going on?
Oh, I'm just a fan. I am a wrestling insider.
Oh, you did have a press pass.
I don't think I had one that night. I had a Dalton pass, but I'm a wrestling insider. I host the #1 wrestling podcast.
Yes, wrestling adjacent.
Both. It's both.
Yeah.
It's wrestling and it's wrestling adjacent. So anyway.
So then it was like, all right, we're all hanging out. And then it was that big wrestling weekend in LA. So there was shows going on basically all the time. So then there was a show going on after that a friend of ours was running. Let's go to that. Let's support. I think it started at like 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
So then we go to that. And then that was my stop. Like I had fulfilled my quota there.
Right. But that was your subway exit on that night.
Yes. But I could not exit.
Because
my bags were in another guy's car.
Oh God.
It was with him and quite frankly, I got outvoted. I was the one dissenting vote to keep hanging out.
So you were like, let's call it a night.
Oh my God, yes.
And they were, I am relating so intensely to just people be like, to like a whole chorus of like, no, are you insane? The night's just getting started.
Yes.
Okay.
Keep in mind, this is also a working weekend for me. So I also had, more work to do and I had to get up early and whatever.
People aren't going to eject themselves from backstage by themselves.
No, it's not an excuse to be tired to me.
Right.
That's embarrassing. Like that's on you. I don't know,
Yeah.
So for me to be tired, it's a self-loathing thing on top of it.
Right. You're an adult. You're supposed to get sleep. And we all know that growing up, you had trouble sleeping. So it's like loaded for you.
I have to gain some back. Also, the hotel is so nice. And I hate it. When we're in a nice hotel, I don't want to go anywhere else.
What hotel were you staying at?
I don't know. It was by the airport, but it was nice.
Where all the nice hotels are. Okay.
It was a nice one. It was good.
No, I get it.
And I certainly don't want to be walking the streets of Los Angeles at, 1:00 in the morning.
No. But I totally get, you want to take advantage of the plush hotel.
Yeah. It's amenities. The streets have nothing.
Worse than nothing. It can be dangerous.
Yes. So we said we were going to go to there's an after party. Okay. So
another
we're all in this car. There's too many people in the car. Then there are seats, which is already bothering me. Right.
Where was your butt planted?
I was in the middle, in the back, but
Oh, no.
there was someone lying on top of us. So you could probably get pulled over. Like,
of course you can. She didn't have a seatbelt. But wait a minute. Was that the wrestler who told you that she pisses herself always when she's performing? Okay.
Yes. She didn't say she pisses herself always. Because now you're just making her sound like a horrible. Now you're just making her sound like, a miscreant, really. It sometimes happens.
I got the sense that it happens during every match.
I could, but I don't think she said always.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you for
Maybe you
me.
should have her on.
I don't know who it is, but yes, I would like to. I love to talk about piss.
I don't know if I should say her name now. It's this mystery piss woman. Did we say her name last time?
Yes.
You don't remember?
You didn't, but I would like to. I know that I asked if she had kids and you said no. You didn't think so because she's young.
She did not have kids. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, maybe off mic you can tell me her name.
Okay. So anyway, that's not getting pulled over by the cops. That's not a funny story to me. That's again embarrassing, like being out late.
Yeah,
like, that's sad.
Your dad was a cop.
Yeah,
you take this shit seriously,
right? So then, it's this after party. Okay, so it's this there's a walled up building, and it looked like one of those cool after party places that they hide from the public because it's so cool,
unmarked.
You know what I mean?
Right? You got to know someone.
So I thought, well, this will be good. There's a place in Toronto I loved going to that it has since closed down. That was totally unmarked. You'd never know it was there. Then you go in, it's like, whoa. So I was very excited about the prospects of the exterior.
Yeah.
And then we walk in this door and we turn the corner and we walk up what I can describe as homemade steps, like non-regulation stairs.
Like planks of wood? Are they like planks of wood, like unfinished?
Clearly, like a non-expert measured them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they were too long.
Dangerous, yeah.
Yeah, he probably only had a certain amount of wood.
Right.
And thought, well, what if we just make them bigger? And you have to take those larger steps.
Okay.
This is not right.
Right.
And then we turned the corner into a house, completely unfinished. Drywall everywhere, almost totally dark.
Mm-hmm.
And just sitting in the corner on couches were just a bunch of unscrupulous people.
Okay.
A real gang of, toughs.
Oh no.
Let's say.
Like
and I'm
like the Sharks? The Jets?
Sure.
Which ones were bad?
They were fun. That whole movie was fun. Everybody in that movie was great.
For me, it's a stage show, but
oh, excuse me. No, yes. They were just sullen gray people. People that I probably have blocked online.
Oh, you feel like these are people. Okay, go ahead. I'm getting distracted. Go ahead.
It's okay. And we were too far in to not say hello because we already made eye contact with these people because it's so dark. But who
were these people? I understand that they're tough gray people.
Yeah, I don't know.
But who are
hanging
they?
Out if some were wrestlers, if some were fans, if some were, I don't know. Other than this was the beginning of a B horror movie from 1982.
Right. Your sense was this is no place for RJ City.
No place for any of us.
Okay.
And we all that note was played in the air, and all of us heard it except for Dalton.
Interesting.
Who decided to strike up a rip roaring conversation, and we had to pull him away. And
so he did not feel unsafe or unsettled like you guys did. Uneasy.
I guess not. Or maybe he did, and he thought his coping mechanism is to make the best of the situation.
Maybe.
And then I will say, we leave finally. And have you seen my interview with Sky Blue?
No, not yet.
Plucky youngster from Chicago.
Who set a kid on fire, right?
Who set a kid
yes.
on fire.
I saw the promo.
She was on her way to meet up with us. And the P woman we were with
The
has a
mysterious P
video
woman.
now on her phone, which she sent to Sky Blue, of me saying, "Turn around. You're going the wrong way." She
Mm.
just has a fantastic warning video of, I look like I've just seen a ghost.
Right. And do you
I'm
not
trying to?
Is it not
Not-
specific at all? Because if not, this can be
Yes.
repurposed.
Yes. So the P woman said she's going to send it to all her friends when they start dating shitty men.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a big red flag video. So, and then the next day, I had, work to do. I had stuff to do.
You had
I
my
did that
podcast.
Busted Open thing
Yeah.
with David, which was, the whole thing. And then we ended up being late to
Yeah.
you.
Right.
So,
So
I'm
anyway,
exhausted and embarrassed and frightened and frustrated. And then I had to listen to Robin mocking me for 2 hours.
she didn't mock you. Oh, a little
She
bit.
mocked me the
A little bit.
entire time.
I don't think she mocked you. I think
Me
she.
and Dalton are in love with her.
You are?
We think she's just wonderful.
She is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she was a smidge disappointed to find out that you both date women and not each other.
Yeah. I
Because
know.
I showed before you guys got here, I showed her Dalton's promo.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Oh, do you think there's any way he dates RJ?" And I said, I don't think so, because he's married and RJ dates women. And she was like, what? And I said,
And he
yes.
also dates women. Like, he's married to a
Oh,
woman.
yes.
Neither of us are gay. Yeah.
I think I said married to a woman.
But then we kind of do, like, date each other when we do stuff like this. Like, we don't
Right.
mind spending long stretches of time together, or like when we did Family Feud and then we hung out at David. It reminds me of my grandmother used to have a friend. Do you know how is this a thing that women still have girlfriends? They'll say, "Oh, my girlfriend."
Women of a certain age will say that.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Okay.
haven't. I'm not there yet, but I feel like
Yeah.
it's around the corner.
That's what it harkens back to me.
Yes, but what you're describing is a good friend.
Right.
To me, the difference between someone you're dating and someone you're just friends with is dating suggests something sexual or eventually it's a sex thing.
Okay. Oh, dating is a sex thing?
I mean, not always, but you hope it will be.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But no, I would say we date in the platonic sense. As
So you're
opposed
friends.
to other male friends where it's just like, I'll see you when I see you,
Yeah,
He's very, let's go do this.
but
I feel like he does stuff with me that he would do with his wife had she been there.
right. I'm just drawing an even finer distinction.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, you guys are like, no, that's you're like platonic partners. That makes sense.
Right.
Right. Well, I have to tell Robin that you guys love her because she will be so delighted.
Yeah.
She loves you guys.
Well, isn't that great?
Yeah.
I guess you're the odd gal out.
Yeah. Would you like me to just exit as if from
Well-
backstage?
Yeah, maybe just give everyone your blessing and say it's us now.
Well, how do you guys feel about me?
Somebody complained about that. Oh my god. Okay. Actually, I should send it to you. You know who Chaz Palminteri is?
Yes.
Okay. So he has a podcast because what else is new? Because he's a person who breathes. And they were doing, his pet peeves. He were doing his version of "Is it just me or everyone?" That deal.
I invented that.
Yeah, that was you. Before that,
No
one
one
was
ever
saying
compared
anything.
no one ever compared themselves to anyone else. Everyone stayed in their own lane.
and he got really mad when he has friends over for like a dinner party or something, and it's people who don't know each other,
Mhm.
and then they hit it off at the dinner party, and then we'll hang out without him.
I get that.
And he's positioned it as rude, but it sounds like they're bonding over not liking him.
I get that.
Yeah.
I got it.
So
Why
maybe
were
that's you for Robin and us.
Thank
I
you.
was gonna
Why
say.
were you listening to Chaz Palminteri's podcast?
I don't listen to it. There are clips on Instagram.
Okay.
And I find, how do I explain this? I put him in the same category as a Joe Piscopo or Frank Sivero, if you're familiar with him.
No, I'm not.
Okay. They're just these actors who have adopted to social media, but then just put out I guess it's gee, I hope people don't think I'm like that. So I guess I watch it in that sense.
Right. I see. It's like a, oh my God, what's it called? A story that's like a warning?
A cautionary tale.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So back to my question. You guys love Robin. She loves you. I know that Robin likes me. How do you guys feel about me?
We told you how we feel about you, and you clipped it and you put it on that every time we're done, we go, is that okay? Is that good?
I feel like that's about you. That's not about how you feel about me.
Yeah. Well, I feel great about you.
Thank you. So anyway, what we were talking about, this whole thing was a wind up to, you shared a story that you had met up with a fan who's not really a fan at the hotel bar late at night.
But saying not really a fan, meaning they're someone in the business. They're they work in the business.
Yes. But yes. Someone you had not met in person before, but you guys were like trying to meet up in person. And then you finally met up with her. And you blurted out like some minutes into it, you blurted out, this isn't a sex thing, right?
Right.
And so Robin, the woman you guys love,
also, wait a minute, threw it out in the podcast like it was this just life hack that solves all the world's problems. And I thought you both were going to go, Dad, what a great idea. What
really?
a noble thing to do. Yes.
Okay, we got to like circle back to that specific aspect of it because that whole thing has caused me to do some thinking about all that stuff. But I didn't realize that you presented it like a life hack, that you were expecting adulation.
I thought
and praise.
This will be a good thing. Not only I thought it was a good thing a good way for me to frame it, but also I thought it was a good discussion topic.
It was great. It was like one of the better things that's come up on the podcast recently because I got a lot of episodes out of that. It's a good.
My hope was it would be a good discussion topic for that episode and then would not be heard of again.
Unfortunately.
It's 4 months later?
Right. And I haven't brought it up lately, but there was a series of episodes where, and especially if Robin was here, we had to run it by the other person and get their thoughts about it. Do you know
hear about this guy?
Do you know who Joel Stein is? He's a columnist. Okay. Robin actually was like, RJ and Joel should be on an episode together. And I said, yes, I agree. Perhaps it can be one where I'm not here. Mm-hmm. Everyone's dream. Yeah. But you're RJ. Joel was like, no, that goes against all social conventions. Like, I assume most of you here don't want to sleep with me right now, but I don't have to put it out there.
He has different life experiences.
I think so.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I know. You guys can duke it out next time you're in town. So
that'd be great.
Yeah, I think you guys would like each other.
You said Ben Stein?
Joel Stein.
I know. I'm sorry. Another guy who I will look up his stuff because I don't like him.
When did he become unlikable, though? Because I don't think he was.
So now, wait a minute.
Ben Stein.
I had this same question myself.
Okay.
And it turns out he had been unlikable before he was likable and then did a likability campaign that worked. He was a speechwriter for Nixon.
Oh, yes. I knew that at one point. Not likable.
Pretty unlikable.
Yeah. Although Watergate looks so mild compared to so many things of late, but that's a separate, not that interesting discussion.
Had I known that while I was watching Win Ben Stein's Money, or The Mask,
right, or Ferris Bueller.
I don't like Ferris Bueller anyway.
Okay,
I left that out intentionally. But there he is with Jimmy Kimmel or Sarah Silverman and Jim Carrey. And you think, okay, this guy's on the up and up. And then he did those fantastic Clear Eyes commercials.
Oh, I forgot about those.
Which is what I really remember him from. And then it was this turn. And then you'd see him. I remember they would bring him on as a correspondent on the news. And I'd say, excuse me, this is not because I didn't. You
didn't know he was a political guy.
Right. Yeah. He took advantage of the generational shift.
Right.
And he latched on a younger generation, which reminds me of those people in like the 12th grade who instead of graduating hang around another year or two for whatever reason.
The fifth year
And-
senior.
The fifth year senior, they've been kind of excommunicated from their own age group.
Right.
And then they hang out with the ninth graders who
And they're super
obviously
popular.
think- of course.
That's the Fonz.
Right. Yeah, he pulled a Fonz.
Yeah. You know, you're reminding me that I remember I had heard that he was a speechwriter for Nixon.
Yeah.
But at the time during his likability phase. At the
Yeah.
time I heard that though, it was like, huh, that's a weird little curio. Like
Right.
it didn't fit into the larger like he sucks thing.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, thank you for the backstory on sex
You're
thing. I didn't realize what a how surprising it must have been when
Yeah.
Robin and I did not say, "Oh my God, what a great life hack!
No.
You are the most direct, honest man.
Right.
Congratulations on your direct communication."
Correct.
And instead,
Robin's face is just it's burned into my brain now.
right?
It's like this gritted teeth. It's a shock, but also a disgust.
I think I think she was stunned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was stunned.
Yeah.
She and I were both just thinking how awful it must have felt for the girl who will not admit that it felt awful. I just suspect. Because if I'm walking down the street and someone's like, "Hey, just wanted to let you know we're not going to have sex." And even
Yeah.
if I didn't want to have sex with them, I'd be like, "Oh, okay." It's just a rejection from out of nowhere.
Right.
I understand your
Right.
life experience led you to believe that this was probably the most effective way to handle the situation.
Right.
I get that. It's complicated.
Yeah.
But to get back to what we were talking about.
Uh-huh.
So my question is, you said that this has become a thing in your life now.
Yeah.
Is that this whole question is driven by my ego?
Yeah.
Is that as a result of it coming up on my show?
Yes. Otherwise, I wouldn't have mentioned it anywhere else.
Okay. But was it already like an inside joke between you and the gal?
Yes.
Okay.
We had laughed about it the next day or whatever. And then I guess maybe that's what gave me the confidence boost
Right.
to say, hey, this is a lovely anecdote.
Thank you for sharing it. It was like the perfect story for my show.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, it a
perfect.
good panel.
Yes.
That's what I
Okay.
said.
All right. So there's a little bit of a coda to that. I want to get into
Yeah.
that. And then just to map out where we are,
Yeah.
I have some questions that listeners sent
Okay.
in,
Oh my
and-
God. Knowing that it was me.
knowing that it was you.
And do you feel like I've grown on them? I've continued to grow on them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Like a mold.
Jesus.
And I don't know if you can see, probably not, but my
Yeah.
printer is running out of toner. So there's just
Oh,
a stripe
great.
in the middle.
Yeah.
So I'm
This
going to
is
have to
real
guess.
grade school library quality.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, I keep this running list of topics for when you're
Mhm.
on. And I was like, I'm going to revisit that. But we kind of got through most of it. Although I do have a list here. And for anyone who would like
Oh.
to see the visual aids, you got to be at the confidant level, then you get video. I do have some notes of things I
Okay.
want to tell you. So anyway,
Great.
let's just quickly get back to the sex thing.
Yeah.
Because you and I talked about it afterwards a bit. Robin and I talked about it a bit. You and
Yeah.
Robin talked about it. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone.
It obviously sat with people on the way home.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like the real life version of that Bye Bye Birdie song where they're all on the phone talking to each other.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Like,
Yes.
What's the story, Morning Glory? What's
Yeah.
the tale, Nightingale?
Yeah.
Is it a sex
Very
thing?
good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you. So anyway, okay. Initially, my feeling was like, you don't have to be that direct. You can just like drop some hints in the conversation.
Sure.
But you said that that's like too indirect. And I do think there is something to be said for just owning your side of it and just being very clear. So
Sure.
in that
I mean, I
sense,
think
like-
that's good. Because I often am not the hottest at picking up on hints. you know, in neither direction, hints in general. I'm like, I don't know, how the fuck am I supposed to know?
Right.
So if someone, I would appreciate people being blunt with me.
Right. Because I told a story of a guy that I was going to like a party with, saying in front of me to my roommate, it's not like it's a date. And I remember feeling like, ouch. And you said you should be thanking him for saying that, so you don't have to wonder.
Well, he should have said it to you.
But I wasn't asking him if it was a date.
Right. Well, if he wanted to clarify that, you know.
Yeah, but that makes me feel yucky.
Because you were in love with him.
Well, I wasn't in love with him.
Well, were you on the same page as him or no?
Well, no.
No. So you had set expectations,
but
and then they changed. And that's why you feel uncomfortable.
But
if it was not a date in your mind, and then he clarified that with you, you would say, of course not.
Right. But the dream, and you don't know this because you've always been attractive. The dream.
Okay, whatever. I'm not going to get into my ugly childhood now.
Okay. Well, maybe you do know this then.
I had a mustache when I was 12.
Maybe you have been unlucky in love at times of your life. So maybe you will relate to this. The dream of every awkward person hanging out with someone that they have a little bit of a crush on, but that they're not intending to do anything with, is, yes, of course I'm fantasizing in my head, but there's no way they would know. So the fact that he's like, this isn't a date, right, made me go like, oh my God, do you have an x-ray machine that can read my thoughts? I feel so uncomfortable. He was quite attractive though. So maybe he also, had the handsome man's burden. Yeah.
And this was Joel Stein?
No, but my sister and I used to read his column in Time magazine every week and did have sort of this weird crush on him. I think I don't know.
You had a crush on his writing.
Yes. But we saw him in Las Vegas one time and we were both like, oh my God, that's Joel Stein. Oh my God. And I told him this story and he's like, why didn't you come up to me and tell me? And I was like,
would have made his whole life.
Yeah. He was really bummed that we didn't tell him.
Yeah.
But it's like, I didn't know him from this was like 20 years ago. Like 15 years ago. And not important. Anyway. Yeah, sorry. You had awkward moments?
Yes. I was very large. I was a chubbier child.
Were you overweight or just?
Yes.
Okay.
I wasn't fat throughout my body. That makes sense.
Where was it located?
I had a hefty midsection on.
Okay.
I didn't have necessarily a fat face or fat fingers or,
right.
Whatever.
So you could hide it
with a good shirt. Yeah.
Good.
But the boys that they liked at that time were smaller and cuter and fitter. I did not have that. And I was also listening to Ethel Merman. I don't think.
Were you able? Go ahead.
I just don't think we're finding common ground for a variety of reasons. Were
you able to shop in how old were you at this point?
Since my childhood, I would say from grade 6 onward.
Were you able to shop for clothes in the section that was meant for you? Or did you have to get someone's older sister to loan you a dress and you had to get it tailored to go to Cotillion?
Not shoes. I had to buy shoes. I had large feet early.
Okay.
Disproportionately.
All right.
And it made the feet really big. And then any shoes that were cool were not cool on my feet because they were so large.
Right. All right.
Double the material. Yeah.
I didn't realize it was so hard for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thank you.
The other thing I was going to say that this is the part that I was thinking about. I forgot. In my mind, it's like, well, you don't say the sex thing to the girl because it's going to hurt her feelings and make her feel terrible.
Right.
But maybe that is not your responsibility. And I'm not really talking about you specifically. I'm just talking about each role. Maybe it is not your responsibility to take care of her feelings to that extent. Maybe
Correct.
your responsibility is just to handle your half of things and be direct. Is that how you
Yes.
feel?
Yes, and I would also say there are probably far worse outcomes than that, than what occurred, right?
The outcome being her making a move or something and you having to shut her down?
Sure. Wouldn't that be even worse?
Yeah.
So it's better to get that out of the way up front.
But you don't think she would have picked up? Oh, you just don't trust hints, is your thing?
Yeah, no. You mean me giving hints?
Yeah, like I feel like you could have like dropped.
And then I have
a
to
hint or
sit
two.
and wonder if they're received and how my hint is and do it. And now I feel like I'm playing a game. Then I almost feel like I'm manipulating someone, with tact.
Were you wondering what she wondered? Did that make sense? That question.
Yeah.
Were you wondering where her head was before you guys met up?
No. And I did frame it as this is not a sex thing, right?
Right. Like there's an opportunity that she doesn't have to feel horrendous.
Well, that I was under the impression that it is not a sex thing. But I would also know that you kind of never know.
Was it because you were meeting up late at night in a hotel? Like what was it that, because when you and I met, you weren't like, this isn't, I mean, you were coming to do my podcast. So
Yes.
that's a bad example.
And your husband was watching through the window.
You don't know what we're into. So that's not a good example, but there's probably plenty of women that you meet in life where you don't feel compelled to say that. So I'm wondering what things.
Yeah, I mean, I would say those would be good circumstances to have sex if you wanted to have sex. Wouldn't they be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So-
Fair. I have to adjust my computer. Hold, please.
Okay.
This will stay in the
boy.
podcast because people like it to keep it when I keep it real, but I'm
That's great. It's verite. This is a real you. You show everyone that you don't have wood paneling that you claim to have.
oops.
There you go. Hide it.
Yeah. But do you like my go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
Do you like my
please.
plants?
I love your plants.
They're all fake.
Great job though.
Thank
the
you.
fake plants. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Unfortunately, I only have I did have them on the other side of the studio, but then I was like, I need more
Nobody
fake
can
plants.
see them. These aren't for you. These are for the people.
Oh no, but when someone else on the other side sits there,
Right.
then I need them behind them. For example,
Yes.
Steven Weber.
Yeah. What did he get?
He got the plants.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll have you know, RJ, I tried to get Steven Weber on this episode.
Oh,
With
and he
you.
blew you off?
With you. He's in Mallorca.
I'm in-
know.
Toronto. What difference does that make?
He said he would love to come back on the show
Yeah. I'm sure he would.
when he's in the same time zone.
Oh, okay.
Well, I just want you to know
Yeah.
he didn't blow me off. He blew us off because he knew you were
Okay.
on the show.
Yeah, but he has been great with me on one-on-one.
Oh,
When I've
once
spoken to
again,
him. So I
it's
think
a me
maybe-
thing.
Maybe you're not the appropriate intermediary.
Oh, like I should have asked you to reach out to him in Mallorca to see if he wants to come on with
I
us?
don't know. I'm just saying I had no problems dealing with him.
Have you
He's
had
been
more-
affable and sweet?
Have you had more communication with him?
Well, I spoke to him after that clip went out.
Right. Has
You
there been more though?
No.
So,
what am I going to say? What am I going to say to him other than likes?
well, I've gotten
Or
likes
likes
from him.
communication?
No.
No.
I mean, have there been
Okay.
more DMs? Because he DM'd you.
He didn't DM me. He responded to the story that I tagged him in as a DM. You know what I mean?
Well, but still. My
But
point
I'm
is,
the one making the initial contact there. I'm alerting him on his phone.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
He's being a gracious gentleman, which he's never not been.
you guys have not had more communication since then.
No.
So when you say he's been kind and loving and
I've not known him to be anything else, even before I knew him at this level. At the deep, deep level, I now know.
I mean,
Steven
this
Weber.
was through his publicist anyway that I got the word. So
Yeah.
I would like to think that he could have said to her, I'm in Majorca and fuck that bitch. But I like RJ.
Sure.
Now the question
Or
is, yeah.
he could have gave her the old, I'm going to Majorca. Don't accept anything.
Right.
This is what a publicist is for.
Wait. Oh, so you're saying if it really were about Majorca, she wouldn't have even brought it to him.
Right. Like if he knew, maybe he doesn't even know. If he just said Majorca, give everyone the same blanket excuse.
Oh, no, I think she did talk to him.
Okay.
That's my sense. So it was a personal rejection of you and me.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I'm just saying she added, but he'd love to come back when he's in the same time zone.
Right.
She didn't. Now, I don't know if that's her. No, I think that must have come from him. It could be bullshit, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying this is not how the RJ Allison Steven Weber story ends.
No, and I also, what am I going to do? I'm going to see him over Zoom. He spoke like that. We spoke remotely already.
You did?
Well, I'm saying he said my name. We DM'd. Let's get in the shit together. I think that's
Get in
what
the
we
shit
need.
together. What does that mean? In
the
person?
shed. In the shed.
Oh, in the shed.
Yes.
What's a cabin?
Sorry.
By the next time you come back here, it will be 100% termite free. Not that
Thank
I know that you didn't see any termites. They're phantom
No.
termites. And I know that you don't care. I can see your soul has left your body. Your eyes are glazing over. And this is the general reaction from everyone. However, we are officially tenting.
Right.
So it'll be
Right.
so ready for you guys.
So, but let me
Yes.
contrast that experience, the Steven Weber experience, with there was a fan on Dynamite the other night who had a sign that said BB Newirth on HeyEW.
Yes, I saw that.
Front and center. The woman's name is Christine.
I think
She
she's
did
a
a great
patron
job.
now because of you. So hello,
Amazing.
Christine. Yeah.
A wonderful, wonderful, darling person. And so, everyone is seeing it. I love getting a producer in my ear before the show starts going, there's a BB Newirth sign, a hard camera, and we're going to see it the entire show. I'm like, okay,
That's
sorry.
great.
And so I, someone tweeted it out and then I quoted it and I tagged BB in it. Not a fucking peep.
She thinks she's better than you?
Sorry, your name was on TBS for the first time in how many years?
Right.
And you're too big doing your Broadway shit?
What is she doing?
Go do
Chicago?
another Addams Family. What?
What is she doing?
I think she's doing some theater shit now.
Okay.
I don't know. Or pops up on a Law and Order.
Right.
She can do the pick of the litter. Do whatever they want. You need a stern, wordy woman? I'm in.
Yeah. Well,
that deal.
is
Yeah.
she on social media very much?
She is.
Okay.
Yeah, I
now
looked
this
at
is
her
personal.
likes and I was like, oh, she's reading shit.
That's
You thought it
upsetting.
would be somewhat noteworthy. To hell with her then.
You know who I feel like is everywhere and is associated with BB Newirth in my mind, but maybe it's just the era and the hair. Fran Drescher, I feel, is gettable.
Well, she's got a little, heat. Now.
Because she said something.
She's SAG president, and they're,
Yeah. That's what I mean by she's in my email, she's on my phone, she's everywhere.
Yeah, but I don't think she's gettable for me. I don't think this is the time to say, hey.
Wait, when you say got a little heat, what do you mean?
Well, I don't think people are crazy about her right now.
Because of her statements about the strike and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, but didn't she also make some questionable vaccine or 5G comment or something?
Are you saying she's one of those Ben Steins?
She might be. I don't know. I want to tell you guys about ZocDoc. We are supported by ZocDoc. Okay, so have you ever been on the hunt for a new doctor and you ask a whole bunch of people for their recommendations? You get some recommendations and you're excited because you think you found a doctor who gets you, who will listen to you and make you feel super comfortable. And then finally, after weeks of searching, after reaching out to everyone you know, you find the one and you're all excited about this doctor. And then you call their office and they have appointments available. However, the receptionist breaks your heart by telling you this doctor does not take your insurance. Wipe away your tears and head over to ZocDoc to find and book the doctor who is right for you and takes your insurance. ZocDoc is a free app where you can find amazing doctors and book appointments online. We're talking about booking appointments with thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed doctors and specialists. You can filter specifically for ones who take your insurance, are located near you, treat almost any condition you're searching for. These doctors all have verified reviews from actual real patients. The average wait time to see a doctor booked on ZocDoc is between just 24 and 48 hours. You can even sometimes get same day appointments. Once you find the doctor you want, you can book them immediately with just a few taps. No more waiting awkwardly on hold with the receptionist. Go to ZocDoc.com/bestfriend and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc, ZocDoc.com/bestfriend, ZocDoc.com/bestfriend. All right, let's get to some stuff on my list. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
There is a moment from when you and Dalton were here that pops into my head so frequently, I don't even know if you're going to recall it at all.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I have a bone to pick with you, but I just need to recapitulate for you. Don't feel bad. A moment. There was a bowl of a bag of Ruffles cheddar and sour cream chips.
Yes.
That you were nibbling from.
Yes.
And I said to you, we have more Ruffles.
Mm-hmm.
Because someone had gone to the store and got like plain Ruffles and sour cream and onion Ruffles. Ruffles brand. Do you remember this moment?
No, I mean, I'm not denying that they were there.
Yes.
I don't know what you're going to say next.
Okay. So I said, we have more Ruffles. And you said, just with so much derision, like, I don't even know if I can set my face into the expression of just like confusion and derision. You said, you don't just call them chips. Do you remember this moment?
No, but I'm not denying that I said it.
You don't just call them chips?
Because I will do this thing where, because branding, everyone wants their product to be cold. They want the Kleenex effect.
Right.
That's the goal.
Kleenex,
Xerox.
Band-Aid. Yeah.
And so I love doing that with items where the name has not stuck.
Okay.
And my prime example is Chobani.
You mean like you'll call all yogurt Chobani?
Yes.
That's amazing. I like this.
And I will annoy people. I'll say, you want a Chobani? Come on, they're good. We have a whole pack of Chobani. See if you can pick me up any. It's like a vanilla Chobani. They have a strawberry Chobani too. And it's infuriating, to be spoken to like that.
Right.
So Ruffles. Oh, what did you do? You made them rigid and now we can't call them chips?
But I didn't think that you were doing a bit. This was not fun. This was not a lighthearted moment. This was you being like, I hate this woman who calls chips Ruffles.
We have more Ruffles, which is phonetically also just
because you hate Mark Ruffalo. Well,
exactly.
But the thing is, we do have more chips.
Yeah.
But we specifically have other flavors of this kind of chip you're eating.
Yeah.
If you're, I don't know.
Like it sounded like you were in wholesale and had like a closet full of just Ruffles.
Yeah, and they're in the Ruffles closet.
Like you just have Ruffles? We don't have chips here. We don't have Ruffles.
What if you were eating Pringles and I said we have more Pringles? Would you have the same reaction?
No. Because Pringles are so distinct.
Well, I think Ruffles would feel that they're distinct as well.
Right. Well, I think it comes down to the packaging.
What if you were eating Bugles and I said we have more chips, and then you're like, yeah, I could go for another chip, and then I just only brought
chips.
What are they?
They're Bugles, aren't they? Corn chips.
Well, yeah, but they're like little hats
shaped
like a bugle, really.
Yeah. Yes,
okay.
That I understand. But also not shaped like a bugle at all. They're bugles. They're shaped for people who have never seen a real bugle.
They're shaped like a megaphone.
Yeah.
They should be
They're
called
cones.
megaphones.
Yeah.
Yes. How do you feel about people referring to popsicles as ice cream?
No,
Yeah.
it's not. It's frozen sugar. Do you
Right.
want a popsicle? Do you want an ice cream? Two
Yeah.
totally different worlds. I
Right.
can understand why they're in the same area of the fridge
Mhm.
door at the convenience store. I
Right.
understand things have to be cold.
Crossing out Weber, crossing out chips. Also, I'll have you know, I have come around on ricotta. And despite my valiant effort to find out if there's anything it doesn't go well with,
Yeah.
I now feel. So I did some research. I think I might have told you I did research. It's basically just milk. And milk kind of goes with anything, including fish,
Right.
even though people think it doesn't. So basically, yes, it goes with everything. You
Good.
win.
Good. It's It's an incredible realization, though, isn't it? Isn't it a moment in time for you
Well,
to be like, "Wow, we really, really, got to something here."
maybe I'm just not ready to take all of it in like that.
Yeah.
But in time. All right, let me get these questions going.
When we ask, they send them in. They're wondering how you have been. So thanks so much for answering these questions from our fans.
Okay. Oh. Daniel Schweitz would like to know. And Daniel Quant says hello. Daniel
Thank
Schweitz would like to know, has RJ gotten over the wrestling event incident?
Oh, you being late?
Mm-hmm.
I had forgotten about it until he brought it up.
Oh, so no.
And I was also late to your podcast, although through no, choice of my own, quite frankly. That was a Dalton maneuver, and that was also a Taven maneuver. There was other people involved that caused me to be late. That's not
There were other
indicative
people
of me.
involved that caused me to be late. That was my point.
No. You came late. You left late. The stuff that was in your control, you did not handle well. So even if you weren't solely responsible, you certainly contributed to it. Me, first of all, that wasn't even my scheduled podcast. That was Dalton's podcast.
Right.
Right? I was tagging along, and I was on his watch, and then we waited for our friends.
I had specifically invited you to be on with Dalton. You had gotten the invitation around the same time as him, and you were like, I'll tag along with him or something.
I didn't know if I would be able to make it.
Right.
So
I see what you're saying.
You were getting him no matter what.
Yeah.
And we also upset, we disappointed Robin. We let her down.
How? Oh, with the sex thing?
Late with the tardiness, not with the sex.
I
And
think
then
she was
yes,
fine.
on top of
I think she was fine with the lateness.
I'm not.
I know.
So it bothered me. And
Yeah.
I guess while I now understand why you were late, I am a little taken aback at your lack of remorse over it.
Oh,
Knowing how hard I took myself being late.
this is not a technical glitch. This is me taking a moment to digest what is happening right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, I apologized
Yeah.
1,000 times.
I don't.
Do you feel? Did they not touch
I don't
where they
think
needed
you
to
did.
touch? Did they not feel genuine?
You gave me. It was very. What's the big deal? There's wrestling on before. There's wrestling on when I got there, and there's wrestling on afterwards. It's all wrestling to me.
It's a good point, but
Yeah. And
But
you were also nervous that you had let down our PR person.
I didn't care a whit about it until you gave me so much shit, and then I was like, "Oh God!"
So my point exactly. You ignored the real life consequences.
Wait, what's your point in bringing up
Your
that
lack of remorse. So I don't know why you're upset about me saying you have a lack of remorse when you just illustrated that you had a lack of remorse.
Well, because I didn't realize that I had committed such a faux pas.
Right,
So
because you're ignorant of it.
yeah, but that happens in life.
Yes,
But then
it does.
once
it's ignorant because you're lacking in remorse. What's hard to understand about that? You're saying
But-
the same thing I am and then disagreeing with it.
perhaps I had a lack of remorse at the beginning because I didn't realize that I had, upset
Yeah,
the way things go.
exactly. And that's what upset me.
Yeah, but then once I realized,
Yeah.
I apologized.
Yeah.
So many times.
Yeah, I was just stunned that you didn't realize to begin with.
Oh, so you're upset.
I just didn't think you would cavalierly waltz into a world like that, of which you know nothing. You talked to Colt Cabana and Anthony Bowens once.
Talked to Colt Cabana
by the
twice,
way,
multiple
have
times.
we talked about? Look, Daniel Schweitz is starting shit.
Yeah, stirring the pot.
have we talked
We're not
about-
done with this, but go ahead.
Anthony Bowens has made history.
Tony Thaxton sent me the clip. I was so happy to see that.
Yeah, the first time a wrestler said "I'm gay," and then the audience was happy about it.
Yeah, I felt really happy seeing that.
And wrestling is always a good 30 years in the past, so this is a bleep in progress.
That was really great. Okay, so but I did apologize so many times.
Okay, yes.
And then remember, we even had a moment of me being like, I feel like, and this was like, I don't know how much later after, I'm like, I feel like you're like legitimately upset at me.
Yeah. Well, I could have been happier. But I put it, look,
No,
I've
but
been
you had
on the show since a number of times. I think we've ultimately put it behind us, except for
Daniel.
the Schweitz man
yeah.
here, who seems to,
No, you had
get
to
his
like,
kicks.
you had to like step out of character and kind of go around our communication and then in through a back door to let me know that if it was truly a horrendous deal, you wouldn't be talking about it on a podcast. And then you zipped back into character.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was, okay.
I know it's very real to you. Okay. So anyway, let's just point out.
Yeah.
I was late to an event where I had no plans to see you. I didn't even know you were going to be there. I know that you're upset not on your own behalf, but on wrestling's behalf.
Right.
And then you gave me shit for it for what felt like eons.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you were extremely late
Yes.
to my podcast.
Correct.
And all I did was try to make you feel better about it.
Because I knew, and if you showed up with that remorse initially, if you had read the situation, maybe I would have come to your aid emotionally. And also, if I just breezed into your house an hour and a half later, whatever it was, and say, "Hey, what's going on? Let's do this," I think you would have been similarly offended. I know Robin would be. I love how every podcast we do is just like a director's commentary on like the previous podcast we saw.
But I didn't even see you that night. So you were upset when you got to my house the next day at my lack of remorse, at my defensiveness.
Well, you were going to go to the show and then we were going to talk about the show.
But I did go to the show. Oh, okay.
You went to like 40 minutes of of a 4-hour show.
I know, but I explained so many times what happened. It wasn't that I was like, this is not important to me. I'm going to say, but
it's like
fuck you.
going to a book club and you only read a couple chapters. I don't think the book club is going to be that thrilled.
This is reminding me of a modern poetry class in college. Hang on one second, because Daniel just texted me because he has to
Daniel
go get
Schweitz or Daniel Quantz?
Quantz.
Has Quantz met Schweitz?
They could be the same person.
You should get them on the phone at least.
Okay. I had something else to say about all of that. Oh, yeah. Just there were so many reasons that I was that late, just like there were so many reasons you were late.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the reasons you were late involves just you not understanding the situation.
Well, you could have decided to come separately to I don't care, but you could have taken your own Uber to my house.
Sure.
I was
chaperoning Dalton.
I was chaperoning
It was
Daniel.
his podcast. No, and also Tony came to the show, no problem.
Yeah, I know Daniel's boss was like up his ass, and wouldn't. So he had to work longer than we thought, and I was going with him, so I had to go
If this was
late.
Daniel's podcast, I'm sure he would have opened with a profuse apology about being so late, and this wouldn't have been an issue.
Okay. Next question.
Yeah.
Allison. Oh, so this is from ear thing happening.
Oh God.
Benedicta 2. Allison, would you ever consider getting in a ring with RJ for a live show? If so, what is your wrestling name? I don't have a wrestling name. Let me think of one. I mean, like, I'm tempted to say like the Overthinker or something, but I feel like it should be, better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to think about that. I know this is an unsatisfactory answer, unsatisfying answer.
Well, you can play with your name. You got Rose there.
Mm.
You could be Bloomin'.
Bloomin' Rose.
Yeah, Bloomin' Allison Rosen.
I feel like that makes me sound like a bloomin' onion or something.
It could be the gardener,
Oh,
Things
the gardener.
You come out with the plants and you reap what you sow and all that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I like that.
Have dirty gloves on. It could be a secret, like a loaded
Mhm.
glove or something, and you hit someone. What happened now?
Daniel's here.
Oh my God.
Here, peek your head
What
in.
is
I have to
this?
find something.
Lovely to see your shirt.
I can't hear him.
Hello.
He said, "Lovely to see your shirt."
Wow,
Yeah, well,
yes. Thank
yes.
you.
It's very nice.
I'm festive. How you doing,
Tell them
RJ?
about your new gimmick we came up with.
Oh, okay. So someone wanted to know what my wrestling name would be.
Oh, yes.
RJ suggested the gardener because my last name is Rosen, and I would come out. There'd be plants and
Yeah.
gloves and okay. So Daniel, I'm not seeing it here. Is it
Oh.
possible?
Is it possible that I already looked in there?
Is it? Did you find it?
No, I told you I couldn't
Okay.
find it.
Well, it's either on my desk or since you're the last one to have used it, maybe
I put it on your desk.
you're 100% sure.
Your desk is like one of those,
Into the mic.
those books for kids where it's, what is it called?
Where's Waldo?
No, yeah. No, it's I Spy books, and it's like a
Yes.
photograph of someone's desk, and you're trying to find. It's like your desk.
What's he looking for? Your cigarettes?
What do you say?
He said, "What's he looking for? Your cigarettes? My ATM card."
Oh, okay.
It's somewhere on my desk, or it's. I would check
I already
your
looked there.
pockets. Okay, would you here? You talk to RJ, and I'll go find it.
Okay. Hello?
Sit down.
Okay. What's happening, RJ?
Is everything okay?
As good as it ever is.
We were just lamenting again about her being late to the wrestling show. But my issue is
she's
that
the worst.
Right. You at least understand that.
Yeah,
and
totally.
that's why I'm not mad at you.
No, you
she
shouldn't
didn't
be.
understand that she's the worst.
Yeah, I mean, I try to tell her that. It doesn't seem to sink in.
Right.
Lots of
And
excuses.
I said if she, when I saw her, if she had the appropriate remorse,
No.
then I wouldn't have been so upset. It was a lack of remorse on top of it.
Yeah, it totally justified on your part.
Thank you. She found it already?
It is. Anyone want to see the
Oh,
number?
wow. It's incredible.
Well, when are you coming back to LA?
I don't know. I have zero idea. Hopefully by the end of the year, I guess.
I mean, come on, man. This is like a big time TV market. Tony Khan, get your act together, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I
See?
mean?
Yeah. I'm sure sometimes he does listen, especially with Steven Weber involved now.
Oh, he should.
Tony's a big wings guy.
Is he? Maybe
Yeah.
we can get Weber in the ring.
I think he
Allison,
would do great.
I feel like the gardener. We get the gardener.
Yeah. Well, I
and,
say you reap what you sow. There's a whole thing there.
I love it.
Every Rosen has its thorn. Yeah, there's a million options.
I won't say who, but there was
Yeah.
a certain Svengali type, okay, out there in the world who has nurtured the career of certain famous people. And this person suggested to me that I push Allison in a direction such as this.
Oh,
Not
my
this
God.
specifically, but,
Right.
kind of light that fire under her
Yeah.
to put herself out there and metaphorically get in the ring, but maybe not metaphorically get in the ring.
Right. Was it Imus?
It's probably not someone you know.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay,
Well,
it was
Imus in
Imus.
my head.
Okay, it was Imus.
Good. Fine with me. I appreciate it.
Oh, could I? Okay, it was Maria Menounos' husband. And Maria
Oh.
did wrestling, and so he was like, this is huge for her career.
Yeah.
and he and I
was
have-
on a Zoom call with her once.
Oh, really?
Yeah. David Arquette smuggled me into a celebrity Zoom call, and that's how I got hired by WWE.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
Wild time.
she's super nice, but Kevin Undergaro, who, by the way, I always forget his last name because it's like one of those names my brain doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Keep wanting to say something different.
Menounos, and you say, do you mind just being Kevin Menounos for 2 seconds and making my life easier?
But super nice guy. I've had many conversations with him. He's always like, I think his attitude is, if he were in my shoes, she'd be a bigger star.
Right.
And so
So
I feel
he challenged your manhood?
not so much my manhood, but my my abilities as a manager, my managerhood.
Right.
Yeah,
He
and
wishes you were pushier with your own wife.
I mean, maybe I should have put it more on the line.
Yeah.
Look where we are now,
I know.
just slumming it.
I know. It's a shame. You got fake plants everywhere.
But that's not
Can't
his
find
fault.
her ATM card.
Allison's blaming her health stuff on him. Jesus Christ, this is really getting in uncomfortable territory. RJ, it's been a pleasure. I got to go to the bank.
So nice.
Bye.
Thank you. It was lovely seeing you. That was great.
Yeah. So much more pleasant, right?
And it's so now similar to when your children have run in before.
Yeah. I just feel that we should correct calling Maria's husband a Svengali type. He
Yeah.
just does act as her manager. And
Right.
I do actually, but I feel like he'd
Think
be
he's going
quite,
to be insulted by being called a Svengali?
I feel like it takes away from what she's achieved on her own a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I think Svengali it could have a negative connotation, but I think
Oh.
that he's
Well,
open.
I took it well.
Well, that's what's important. But I think that he is open about being her manager, basically. You know, and like pushing her and stuff.
Let me
Okay,
look up the meaning of Svengali here.
do that.
Oh, yeah, okay. No.
What does it say?
Person who exercises a controlling or mesmeric,
Ooh,
great word, influence on another, especially for a sinister purpose.
yeah. See, what's so bad about that?
I don't think he's sinister.
You know, do you know him? Do you know her?
No. Yes.
Oh, Owen's back. Oh, okay. Just kidding. It was Daniel. Bye.
Maybe off air you could tell him not to use Svengali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the word mesmerizing or
Yeah.
mesmeric comes from someone who is named Mesmer.
You want me to find it?
Yeah. I think he was like an
Alright.
early hypnotist. And while you do that, I will adjust my headphones.
Dates back to, oh, put your headphones on, damn it. Hello, I found it.
Okay, tell me.
The word mesmerize dates back to an 18th century Austrian physician named Franz Anton Mesmer.
Ooh.
He established a theory of illness that involved internal magnetic forces, which he called animal magnetism, which would later be known as mesmerism. I mean, he sounds like he's just shit. Sounds like he's full of shit.
Yes, he does. He sounds
Oh,
like
yeah. Involved giving his patients medications with high doses of iron, then moving magnets over their bodies.
But people have been confounded by magnets for a really long time.
Yeah. Well, it is crazy. It is magic, you know?
I guess. I mean, I guess, yeah.
Well, he was popular with his patients. The medical community was less impressed. He got kicked off the faculty of the University of Vienna and was forbidden from practicing medicine in Vienna altogether.
He was an early truther. Wow.
And
It's
he moved
interesting.
to Paris. It became a hit, his little racket here.
Mhm.
He did group sessions in an expensive Parisian neighborhood. Patients would hold hands as Mesmer passed by them, usually wearing a flowing robe. This guy sounds amazing.
Yeah. There should be a documentary about him.
Yeah, there's got to be a Mesmer something. Jesus.
It's amazing that that word has stuck.
Right. And he's probably really smug about it. He's like, see, I made a difference.
Yeah. Speaking of meanings and such, and I
Yeah.
talked about this with you a little bit, pontificate
Uh-huh.
So you heard that section of the Steven Weber show.
Yes.
I was stunned that it has a negative connotation. I mean, I know that I was stunned that the definition is negative. My entire life, I just thought it meant to sort of hold forth about something.
Right. Well,
I can barely recover.
I guess it does depend who you say it about.
But in the definition is like to speak pompously about something.
Yes, because there are so many pompous people now. There are so many non-experts.
Right.
All we do is talk about things that we know nothing about. That's literally almost
podcasting.
all anyone does. And then when there's people who do know something that say something definitive, we usually just yell at them.
We say, then go on Joe Rogan and debate someone.
Yeah, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
You got a lot of nerve knowing this. So, go ahead.
Anyway, as for whether I would ever get in the ring, someday, like if I were trained, you know, I've seen like the way non-wrestlers can be trained to do that. So sure, perhaps. Okay.
Yeah.
Alyssa Van Dyke says, and I feel we've gone over this a bit on some of your episodes, but what inspired RJ to get into wrestling?
I don't remember not wanting to do it. And I wish I knew what I saw. But I just remember not only being a fan of it, but wanting to do it at the same time. Which I assume almost every child, like one of your sons is interested, no?
Well, Owen, I told you, so Dalton has a clip set to the Moldy Peaches version of Little Bunny Foo Foo.
Right.
It's one of his, like, I think it might be a pinned reel. And so Owen wanted to, and in it, he lifts someone up, I think, and spins them. Mm-hmm. What's that called?
Airplane spin.
Okay.
Oh, his bangarang, his finishing move, the bangarang.
Okay. So Owen, he wanted to repeatedly watch that and said, I forget what his terminology for it was. But it was like, I want to watch that thing where the guy, where the guy lifts grown-ups and does silly things to them or something.
Right. So I go, oh my God, it's pretty obvious why every child would love wrestling and also want to do it, because it's stuff that, you know, you're physically incapable of doing.
Right.
And then, so my question is, what prevented me from growing out of it? I think that's the real mystery. What?
Was it talent? Like maybe a lot of people want to do it, but it's not, like they're not suited for it, and then you actually were good at it?
Well, no, because I would say just even wanting to do it still at the age of 15 or 16 is like kind of an anomaly. That's when your friends, like your school friends, would drop away.
Right.
You know? Because it's like there's a world of options now we have access to.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff makes more sense. So, why did I not say, well, yeah, that was fun to be a kid, but we can stop doing that.
Right. Is there a certain way in which most wrestlers are stunted?
Yeah.
Do you put yourself in that
there's
category?
also, I mean, it encourages, similar to stand-up comedians, it encourages a certain behavior that I cannot think is allowed anywhere else in society.
Right.
So when you've done it from the beginning, you know, the child I interviewed right now, the -1, he's a son of a famous wrestler. He's 11. So when you're growing up in that environment.
Is it Brody Lee? Is that his name? That was his
Brody
dad?
Lee's, yes.
Yeah.
Not to say that he's a miscreant, because he is very smart, and I'm pretty sure he understands the difference. But you don't know until you get older.
Right.
You know, when you get 14, 15, some people just grow up around wrestling, like they grow up around comedy, or I don't know, being in a band or something. And then they have no need to evolve their behavior.
Right.
When I wouldn't say they're deficient.
Yeah, when I said stunted, that had a real negative connotation. Yeah. And for a second, I thought, find a different word. And then I was like, I'm tired. But I guess what I'm really trying to say is, and this is to your question of like, what is it about you that you didn't grow out of that? Yeah. Is there something that most wrestlers share that you've noticed?
It depends. Certain age groups, certain geographic area, and then the main thing why I don't think that's the case is because wrestling encompasses so many different things. So you'll get people who are interested in just the athletics,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll get people maybe like Dalton and I who are a little more show businessy,
Right.
and then you'll get people who are physical freaks.
Right.
And it's like, well, I'm 7 feet tall. What else am I going to do? And you have the business coming at you.
If you had just gone into theater, let's say, do you think
Yeah.
you would have been satisfied? Assuming you're satisfied now.
No, I mean, no, I don't think I would have been unless, but there have been a couple times where I was about to get something or it was an opportunity. I was like, well, here we go. If this takes off, I guess this is going to be it,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess nothing is taken off.
I mean, I feel like right now you're having such a moment,
A renaissance.
a renaissance. Yes. Everyone had forgotten you. Your career
Yeah.
was in the dumps.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you emerged like a phoenix.
It was me, and what happened to RJ City, what happened to Linda Lavin, and
Yes.
Yeah. she's
Quick.
good, by the way.
quick-
She just sang, yeah, that's a person whose Instagram I follow out of joy.
Mhm.
She just sang with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. She was very happy.
Good for
about it.
Linda.
Yeah.
Okay, quick diversion, and then we're going
Yeah.
back into what we were talking about. But I was thinking last night about names that are like the same in my head. Like
Uh-huh.
for some reason, I always, if I meet someone named Jody, in my head, I will think their name is Tracy. Like Tracy and Jody, pretty much the
Okay.
same name to me.
Sure.
Barbara and Linda,
Mhm.
pretty much the same name to me.
Peter, Phil, and Paul.
Oh,
It's difficult
interesting.
for me. Yeah.
Kurt and Kirk, but I think everyone would agree that those are the same name.
Sure. I think
That's
those are
different.
just bad names, quite frankly.
Brendan,
That's on the-
Brandon, yeah.
Yeah. That's on the fault. That's the onus is on the name.
Right. Are there any? So for you, Peter, Paul, and Phil are all the same?
Yeah.
Peter and Paul are very similar. Phil is in a separate category. And in that category, I'd also put the name Ken.
Well, I also guess when I'm hearing it, I'm seeing the word in my head.
Yeah.
And I've only remembered the P clearly.
Pete and Paul are similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember the Pete and repeat jokes? Did you hear those when you were a kid?
Yes.
Whatever happened to those?
They didn't stick.
No.
They didn't
have
change with the times.
lasting power. Okay. Ames said, does RJ have siblings? And if so, what's his relationship like with them?
Estranged.
No.
I have a brother. He's 3 years younger than me. He has a baby who is over 1, who is 14 months. And she's great. He seems to be more of an adult than I am.
Mm-hmm. When did that happen?
When did he become an adult?
When did he become more of an adult than you?
Well, he that's a great question. Probably around getting into, I wouldn't even say high school. He floated around trying to figure out what he wanted to do, but he'd always been very serious about wanting to make something of himself, wanting to have a certain, not a certain status, but certain things in life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't care what, I just want to do the things. What will enable me to do more of the things that I'm doing?
Right.
And he was like, what can I do that will give me the things I want?
Are you talking about
um,
material things, or are you talking about like a certain
Yeah,
title?
but like a family, a house.
Okay.
Not material where it's like, I want a Cadillac.
Right. Cadillac, the ultimate in fancy cars.
But that tells you how up I am on
Yes.
automobiles.
Yes, I hear what you're saying though.
But he's very funny, but he also has the ability, which I lack, to not try to be funny all the time.
Mm.
So he can hold on, and then when he is funny, very funny, like to me, once or twice a year, when he uses it. Do you know what I'm saying? As
Only
like
once or twice a year?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, usually it's like a family gathering or something when when that side of him comes out,
Right.
then it's even more funny.
Yeah. Interesting.
As opposed to me, who's just kind of maybe a little funny, but all the time.
Is he more comfortable with sincerity?
No.
Okay, so it's not about sincerity versus
Look,
humor.
something happened during our childhood. No, yeah, he's not that good with it. We express in different ways.
How?
I express more. I think he holds on to things, and then when you hold on to things, they'll come out in different ways.
Oh, I see. Like he wouldn't have said this isn't a sex thing, right?
Right.
He just would have all of a sudden like ghosted the person because it was too intense.
Correct.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's very, not to make this about me, but I will make
Yeah.
it about me.
Sure.
It's very reminiscent of my sister and me.
Yeah.
She's 3 years younger than I am. And she is also has the ability to be hilarious,
Mhm.
but didn't lean into that, career wise.
Yeah.
And then also I would say like, if something's bothering me, I can't not address it.
Right.
But
Having said that,
she
I
can.
will. Do you sometimes not address it directly, or as directly as you could?
Wait, was that a question?
Yeah.
Do I sometimes not address it directly? Okay, so it depends because if it's Daniel, if it's like with Daniel or mostly just Daniel
Mhm.
or my therapist, let's say, I will always, I can't let things fester. But like with anyone else in my life, probably I do struggle to communicate things.
Yes.
Is that how you are?
Yes, but
Do you feel you can say anything to Daniel?
I liked his shirt.
Mm.
I feel like I will over communicate, and my brother will under communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I will probably try to bury the message
Because
in a
you're
bunch of different stuff if I have to address it, and I think my brother just probably won't at all.
Right. Yes, I relate to that intensely too. Like I won't be able to just stifle it. So I'll try to communicate it, but because I'm learning how to be better at direct communication, maybe it'll come out as indirect or it'll come out as a question when it's not really a question.
Right.
Or just it'll be confused. Like I have a little note on my wall that says clear, kind, concise communication. The alliteration is not intentional, but it was
right.
And it's been there so long that I never look at it. And I forgot it was there till right now. So it's really not. I
You
should
just gloss over the concise portion.
I should look. Concision is not a word, and it's also not anything I do. That is the best, but I struggle with that.
Sure. I will keep talking. I will address something and then keep talking, and then I'm like, you can just stop talking.
Yeah. Yes. I know. But are there people like, do you have your version of the Daniels where it's like there are people where you can just be straight up and direct with?
Sure. Yeah. Because I trust that they will receive it in a reasonable way. Yeah.
It's the work situations where it's hard for me.
Sometimes I will say in my work environment and the people I work with, it's the opposite because we don't have a lot of time.
Oh, so you have to just blurt it out.
Yeah, and I think that's good, and we all get it. I don't think anyone is, resentful or not that there are gigantic problems, but if I need something done or if I need to say like, hey, whatever, we're all on the same page, but we also don't have the time to ferment.
Right. What we were talking about before, I feel like you're having a renaissance.
Yeah.
It's a real year of RJ.
Uh-huh.
Does it
like when Andrew Dice Clay did that?
Yeah.
This sucks. I backed myself into a corner. I'm going to have to say when he did that Woody Allen movie.
It's all right.
It happens, right?
Yeah.
Because it was before.
Right. But what was the movie he did? I've developed a stutter.
Sally Hawkins is in it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit. I don't even think it was that good. But
he also was in the Lady Gaga Star is Born.
Yes.
But I know what you're saying. He had a renaissance before that.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, we didn't take this guy seriously.
Right.
Yeah. So do you feel like, oh, my dreams are coming true?
Sure. And it's weird. And I was like, why don't I feel like that? Because we did Forbidden Door was in Toronto. It was at the Scotiabank Arena, which is like, where the Maple Leafs play there's any concert, if anyone noteworthy is playing somewhere, that's where they go. And I've been to wrestling shows there, and Renee and I opened the show in the middle of the ring, and before the camera turned on, everyone's chanting my name, which
That's
we did
so
not ask
cool.
them to,
Yeah.
right? And then I remember going, it's not your job to acknowledge this. You're hosting the show. There's other people that they will be cheering for, so don't make a big deal about it. I looked at Renee like, it is weird. And then I maybe blew like a quick kiss. But then I go, why? And then I think back to that moment and go, why didn't I at that moment go, oh, wow,
Right.
here I am. I've done it.
Yeah. Right. Like, why didn't it sink in more?
Right. Because I was nervous about a lot of other things. Being in the
Mhm.
ring wearing loafers was a major concern.
What were you afraid
in
of?
my air. I just had not been in a ring in loafers before.
But were you afraid you were going to slip? Were you afraid?
So they were like, "Oh, we think you're going to open the show in the ring." I was like, "Oh my god, amazing!" And then I basically excused myself.
to go buy
hours before
loafers?
the show. I had my loafers on,
Okay.
and then I walked to the ring and up the steps.
Oh, to practice.
Just so I didn't fuck it up. And then I guess I was just worried about not fucking up.
Can we just stick
Really?
with loafers for a moment?
Yeah,
But you've worn dress shoes before, right?
in the ring.
What do you normally wear? What is the surface
you wear
of the
wrestling
ring?
boots. You know?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Big chunk that I wasn't putting together. Okay.
Yeah.
You're
I would
talking about
also-
being in the ring in non-wrestling boots, like anything
Correct.
other than, okay.
Yeah.
You could have been in
And
a
I had
Hirachi and it
also-
would have been uncomfortable.
I've never been in an AEW ring before. Because it's not. All my stuff is backstage. What do I
Right.
need to be out here for? And I'm
Yeah.
like, let me just make sure I remember, and it's on one hand probably unnecessary, but mentally it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah. What is the surface of a ring? Like, what does it feel like?
It could feel different depending on the ring. And
Mhm.
it also depends on your shoes. Like women will wear like stiletto heels and they'll sink because it's one of those things where like the sharper it is, the deeper it'll go. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's the force being concentrated on a small
Right.
point.
So it's different depending on what shoes you're wearing.
So
So I
given
had
that you
to give
have
the loafer run. Yeah,
given that you have large feet,
you're right.
you're good. It's like you're on water skis.
Yeah, I'm wearing snowshoes.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Ulysses Atkins, when are you going back to a wrestling match? Oh, maybe that might be for me. I thought that was asking you when you're going to wrestle again, but I think it's for
Right.
me.
Yeah.
And Allison, if you were to wrestle, what would your name be? Well, we already
this is
canvassed that.
a hot question.
It really is. And I don't know when I'm going back. Probably when you and Dalton are back in town, or Colt.
Yes, and I don't know when that. Well, we're all work for the same company,
Yeah. So, when
I assume
AEW
we'd
is
all be
back in
back
town.
together.
right.
Yeah, but I will say there are a lot of smaller shows that I think you will enjoy,
Yes.
and that Tony can certainly guide you. Lucha Vavoom, I think, is a. Do you go out?
Sometimes Colt invited me to Lucha Vavoom.
Wow.
Like the last time it was happening and he was on it, and it was during COVID, so I did not go. But
Sure.
yeah.
I think you would have a good time. That's a fun show that I would recommend to non-wrestling people too.
Mhm.
And it's also, now that you've seen it in a big arena, I think it would behoove you to
Yes.
see it more up close.
And when will you be wrestling again?
My last match was in December. I have not made any solid plans to wrestle again or to not wrestle again. Having said that, with AEW, I only get busier.
Yeah.
So, I was coming in once a month. And now, since January, I have not missed one show they've done.
Are you enjoying that? I mean, obviously you're enjoying it, but like, what is that schedule like?
No, help me. Well, the schedule has now changed because of Collision, the new show. So it's a thing where I'll definitely be at at least one thing every week. And then I think also the show's only had 3 episodes. So everyone has to figure out what works best in terms of crew and who's there and when, and it's got to all settle. So it's feels very like starting a new semester and figuring out where everything is, and like, oh yeah, this is a Saturday, and then this should I have to do on a Sunday, and whatever. But I'm still filming my show. I did change stuff, like when I film would change how I write. When I was coming in once a month, I could write for 3 weeks and then have a bunch of stuff done. Now that I'm in every week, we will film one, so I'll work on one a week as opposed to working on 10 for 3 weeks.
Right.
So that's like the main difference for me. And then your schedule changes when you're always flying to different places.
You see, that sounds brutal to me.
It's sometimes great. I love riding on the plane. So if I get a 3-hour flight, I'm getting a tremendous amount of work done. It's like a little office, and the Wi-Fi is never good to watch anything.
Right.
It's perfect, like just for writing stuff. That's great. What's really difficult is when you finally come home and you've had delays and there's a time change and whatever, and you're like, I have to immediately unpack my bags and start doing stuff. You know what I mean? Like I can't, if I lie down, I'll pass out and I'll, I'm leaving again soon.
So you have to like make the most of your time. Is that what you mean?
Right. It's like, yeah, it's not over when you get home because you have to get ready for the next trip.
Like I would pass out. I would take advantage of that chance.
But I go, oh my God, I have to do my laundry immediately because I'm leaving so soon that I will not have any clothes.
What is the turnaround?
Sometimes it's, if I'm going into Dynamite, I'll leave it Tuesday and I'll come home at Thursday. And then if I don't have to go to another Dynamite again, it's great. I'll have enough time to clean my clothes. But then sometimes it's you go to Dynamite, you come home at Thursday, and then maybe Friday you're turning around and doing something else again. Or maybe you're not even coming home. Maybe it's easier just to go from point A to point B.
Do you check a bag?
And then it depends how long I'm going for.
I
don't want. Well, I will say, if you fly enough, you get to that free check bag level, which is great.
Yeah.
Having said that, then you gotta wait after you get off the plane,
right? And they might lose your bag,
and which they've lost many a bag of other people. They've never lost mine, but I've seen it happen. People have their wrestling gear in it, and I would just lose my mind.
Yeah. Who watches your cat while you're gone?
A variety of family members chip in, and then sometimes there is a dedicated cat lady. Dear Sylvia is going to be 20 years old in September.
Oh my God. How's she doing?
Yeah. Amazing.
Like health-wise, it's all good?
Health-wise is good. She's older, but she's not crabby. She's up in the morning. She wants to go outside. She moves well. She sits with people. She's social. She's very picky with how she eats. She's always been very picky. Oh, this week I'm into this. This week I'm into this. And then it's like, oh, you give her new treats, and then she's into the treats, and then she doesn't want to eat her normal food because she's so into the treats. And you're like, got to be really careful with her.
That you don't get her hooked on treats so she turns down her food?
Right. She'll do really picky. She doesn't mind walking away from food. She's not a dog. You know what I mean?
What is her regular food? Do you keep it consistent?
Well, there's like a wet food. It was a consistent. And then there was 2 foods that were being mixed. And then she stopped liking one.
Yeah.
Her tastes are constantly evolving.
Right.
Yeah.
What is... Cat people are so lucky that cats live so much longer than dogs.
Well, I mean, she's also an anomaly. It's a very old cat.
Yeah. What is a cat lifespan?
I don't know. My first cat, I think, died at age 17.
Okay.
I would say longer than a dog, but not that much longer.
Got it. Well.
Yeah. Good. Thanks for bracing me for that. Anything else on your list?
Yeah.
Any other deaths you want to address? Any coming demises?
Any deaths you want to address?
Alan Arkin.
I know. Well, look, Wendy, my dog, is 9 and has a heart condition.
Jeez.
And so we're looking at probably 2 more years or something,
Mhm.
which feels like not enough.
It's never enough, though.
Yeah.
You know, you could have relatives who die at 95. It's not enough.
I forget if I've talked about this with you, but I know so many people, and maybe it's just a male comedian thing,
Yeah.
who are like, I want to make it to 70 and then I'm good.
Yes.
And I
I've
always
done
say to
this.
them, you have said this?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, it's a man thing then. That it's a thing among men who come on my show.
Right. You make people want to die.
Thank you. But I always say, let's talk when you're 69.
Right.
Because you're not gonna want to check out at 70. I mean, unless
I don't
things
know.
go really.
Yes, I know plenty of old men who, when one thing went wrong, they were like, let's try to get out of here.
Just
But
wrap
they
it
don't.
up.
Yeah. If oh my God, there's been old men in my family who, if you have to walk with a walker, then they're not going to walk at all. They're so ashamed of the regression
Yes.
that they're like, get me the fuck out of here. And then they, for lack of a better term, really try to slowly kill themselves.
By
which-
doing what?
I'm not going to get up. I'm not
I
going
see.
to walk. I'm going to
Not-
drink. I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And then they
Well, there's
I'm
depression in there. Clearly,
bedridden. I'm not going to do this for my back or whatever it is. So it gets worse. And then, they underestimate how long a human being could stay alive. You think,
Right.
if I don't eat for a couple days and then the fucking months go by,
Yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah.
So I've known people like that. Obviously, the common one is the wife dying, and then the husband's like, I think I'm ready. I won't be
Right.
mad when I die. You know what I
Right.
mean? Which is very sad. But I also am very worried about, and I bring this up when I do cameos a lot, because it's for people's birthdays and whatever.
Yeah.
People are 100 is no big deal anymore. Right? Remember there was one 100-year-old when you were a kid? They were like, there's one lady who lived to 100
Yeah.
in Italy or some shit.
To me, it's still a big deal, but I hear what you're saying.
Well, it's more common now.
Well, now isn't there a woman in Japan who's 121?
Right. So think about what the life expectancy is going to be, provided we don't all,
Explode.
burn up.
Yeah. Right.
Which would be a nice balance to this, I guess.
Mhm.
But imagine what the life expectancy is going to be when we get old.
Right.
And can you imagine being 80
Yeah.
and having another 30 years to go?
I hear what you're saying. It really depends on the circumstances.
Right.
Do you ever do this thing where you try to imagine living forever, true infinity, and it's the brain cannot do it? It
Right.
gives me the bends.
Yeah. Well, because things are changing. You can't really picture change.
But also the idea of what's life becomes meaningless if it's forever.
Right.
What's the point if this is just going to go on forever?
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad is officially old at this point, and my dog has a heart condition, and his is worse actually than Wendy's, but they're neck and neck. No, his is worse. She's asymptomatic. But anyway, watching him now
Mhm.
does make me go wow, being old sucks.
Yeah.
When your
No,
body
it's not
starts
good.
going, watching the house become just festooned with old people stuff, all the medical
Yeah.
supplies and the walker and the
Yeah.
this and it's just it's depressing.
Yeah. The unlearning, and some people don't have this because they have different bodies, but this new idea you have to deal with where you're like, oh, my body's on its own fucking path. And I
Yeah.
have minimal control. It kind of does what it wants. I
And-
thought we were all the same, but I'm just a brain and a fucking thing, and I barely know how to drive this thing anymore.
Right.
And sometimes you're not even a brain.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And to your point about the loss of dignity of it.
Yes.
To become dependent after
Right.
being a adult head of the family kind of person, and then to be
Yes.
dependent on people.
Right.
This
But
is
yeah,
cheerful.
it does it's obviously a common path.
Yeah.
But I wonder why we still have such shame surrounding it.
I think loss of vitality is, or virility, or however you want to put it, is just. I do wonder if men have a harder time. Seems like old ladies flourish.
Yeah, I think so. I think they also, and maybe this is men, I feel, have been fighting against it forever with that like old men dating young women thing. Just like the concept that like an older man should always be with a younger woman.
Right.
You know, that old idea. I feel like this is where it comes from.
Yeah. Right. Well, because men can have babies forever.
Right.
I guess. Okay. A few more questions. Are you okay on time?
It would be really helpful to have like an expert somewhere here. Yes.
Yes. Would it be a sociologist?
I'm just like, we don't know what the fuck we're talking.
Would it be a sociologist though, or would it be like an old person? Like, what kind of expert are we looking for here?
Oh, a sociologist.
Not just a random old person.
No, those people are useless.
They can't even take care of themselves.
Right.
I'm going to take a guess that you're not watching And Just Like That.
I am watching it more than I'm not watching it, but I'm aware of it more than I would be otherwise because I am friends with Mario Cantone.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, and I don't feel this is a spoiler.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Sex and the City? Like, do you know the characters?
Yeah, I know it, but yeah.
Okay. Evan Handler, who plays Harry, who is Charlotte's husband, bald guy. Anyway, they're getting older now. And he ejaculated and nothing came out. This was a whole plot point. Apparently that happens to older men.
Yeah.
It like
just.
Yeah. And then there were all sorts of puns. And she was like, Harry, where is it? Because their kids went away and she's like, they had sex. And she's like,
yeah.
Do you want to come on my tits?
Right.
And, he's like, oh, it's not even my birthday. And then she's like, where is it?
Yeah, that would be particularly embarrassing. Yeah. I mean, if it's in a condom or if you're masturbating alone in your own bed
right
late at night, it would be a dream to not ejaculate.
Well, exactly. So then Miranda, who has come out, but Miranda as a lesbian, but Miranda was like, this seems like an upgrade to me.
Yeah.
And then they're like, that should have been because she was saying like she was never that into jizz. And then they're all like, that should have been the first tell. And then the other ones are like, all about jizz.
Right. Yeah. No, I would say if you went to perform such a performative act.
Right.
And then nothing came out, that's the ta-da of it all.
Yeah. I mean, and I hope this isn't TMI. Like, I don't think I am all about jizz.
Right. All about it.
All that jizz. It's a new stage. It's a new show.
Really nice.
Yeah, unless I was trying to get pregnant and actually able to, unless I needed the jizz, I don't think I'd be like, oh, fuck, where is it? It'd just be like.
You're more functional with it.
Yeah. Well, I did IVF, so actually, no. Well, no, he did.
Right. Not even that.
Well, we needed it, but just not. I just was not part of that process.
We'll go in and get it.
There's like a little room you go into.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of porn in the room.
Yeah.
I never saw it, but it was all like big butt Latina porn, he said.
Yeah.
And then, so, I don't know. I guess my question is really more for other women out there. How do you feel about jizz?
Yeah. Just write in.
Yeah.
Let her know. And this is a good one to bring when we have Robin back. I would like to know Robin's thoughts on.
I would like to as well. Yeah. Okay. Tammy H. RJ, do you just like to complain and give Allison a hard time? You are on her show more than anyone else, but you do the most complaining about how she conducts her podcast.
Uh-huh.
Also, how old are you?
When does this come out?
Next week, probably.
Okay. As of July 18th, I will be 35 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And what does that wow entail?
I don't know. It felt the moment needed a wow. I felt, but the truth is I know how old you are. And I actually thought you were already 35.
Right.
And I also thought your birthday was July 19th. So it was a lot to take in.
Yeah. Same as Nelson Mandela.
But also,
which is why he and I are just like that.
RJ and Nelson.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I was so sure it was July 19th that I wondered, is it possible that you got your own birthday wrong? I see no.
You know what Danhausen does every year?
Yes, he tweets happy birthday on the wrong
Just pick
day.
a random day.
Yeah.
And truly ruin my entire day.
Because you're just having to correct people.
Yeah, well, he wields power. The last time he did it, AEW panicked and made a happy birthday graphic. And I got to them before
hilarious.
They posted it.
That's true mischief.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Because how did we miss this?
Right.
I'm also I'm one of those weird employees where I'm in my own world, so I'm not really on the books.
Right.
Like, I don't know if they have my birth information.
Do they know you work there?
I'll tell you this. I don't have the much heralded All Elite graphic.
Yeah.
When people get signed, they go, Danhausen is All Elite. I never got one. I've been working there over a year and a half.
Did they make one for Renee?
Oh, Renee got one.
Before she worked there?
Walked in the door, They had it ready for her the first day. And I was like, that's really nice. I'm not even on the website. And they have a roster section, which obviously has the wrestlers, which I'm not a wrestler for.
Right.
But they have a broadcast team.
You're not on there?
Not on the... I've now hosted 3 pay-per-view pre-shows. I've been on Dynamite. I've been tumbling balls. I've been picking out balls. That's a real hot thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was attacked on the show
by
while
Moxley,
being
right?
a correspondent.
Yeah.
You think if that doesn't earn you your stripes.
Right. Well,
so
have you talked to anyone about it?
I've brought it up publicly. So we'll see. We'll talk about over talking.
Talk about not being direct.
Yeah.
Yeah. The company that sells ads for my podcast, I was not on their website for a while. Right. And I was like, what's that about? And then I mentioned it to them once. And they're like, yes, we need to update our website. We need to add some, the other people. And then it didn't happen. So I just ignored it. And then one day, out of curiosity, I looked and there I was. And I was like, I wonder how long I've actually been on here, thinking that I'm not on here.
Right.
It could have been a long time.
It's one of those things where, and I check that roster page quite frequently because when I'm writing notes and doing stuff, it's nice to have a list of the wrestlers and whatever. Oh, is there anyone from, I don't know. I'm making a joke about Spain. Is there anyone from Spain? And then I'll look, So I see it a lot. I'm reminded almost weekly that I'm not on there.
Do you know who handles that though? Like, have you talked to them?
Yeah, and I could ask them directly, and I feel like it would defeat the purpose.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that how you are in relationships? Is that how you are in relationships? And let me explain what I'm saying because this is too vague, but it makes perfect sense in my head.
If I have to beg for a blowjob, I probably don't ultimately want one. Is that what you're like that?
Yeah, I wasn't going to go towards sex, but
well, it's a sex thing.
Yeah, is that how you are?
Yes. Who's enjoying begging for anything?
There's a third option.
Yeah.
Which is, let's take sex off the table. This is, RJ, this isn't a sex thing, right? Okay.
Why isn't that a button? Why isn't that one of Tony's buttons? This isn't a sex thing, right? That would be so good.
I gotta make a note.
You want a clean take of it?
Yeah.
All right, count me in.
In 5, 4.
This isn't a sex thing, right?
So good. Okay. Yeah. Drop. This isn't sex thing.
Yeah, well, he's going to be listening to the episode. Of course he's going to do this. Come on.
I don't know.
He's not an idiot.
He's not an idiot.
He's not an idiot.
He's not an idiot.
He's a moron, but he's not an idiot.
Oh, okay.
So you're saying take the sex out of it.
Take the sex out of it and the begging out of it. It's the kind of thing where it's like, sometimes you know, if your needs aren't being met, if there's something you would like, just state it. And then the person will be like, but if I have to say it, then it takes it doesn't feel good when I receive it.
Right. Yes. I mean, the fact that I had to have to point it out like this, that no one has noticed it.
Yeah.
It's like, and then also there is another part of me that goes, this is a really good slight to keep in your back pocket.
Well, see, I almost wonder if that isn't why it continues. Like, they are not going to make it graphic now. It's like it's a whole thing.
It's moot at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is going to be if I ever have to get into some sort of debate at work.
Oh, I see.
If I ever have to prove my tireless efforts, I
right.
will absolutely throw out, I don't even have a graphic.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. But the first part of the question, do you just like to complain and give me a hard time? You do the most complaining about how I conduct my podcast.
It's way I communicate. A lot of it is framed as a why. I think it's a genuine curiosity. And then, do I just like to complain? Yes.
Wait, what is the genuine curiosity? Like, oh, why can't you do prep? Why can't you?
Right. We owe this huge list, and then we never got to the list. Why don't we ever get to the list? I mean, it's also me being it's like a second generation reaction. So it's me being neurotic, and then having certain expectations because I'm neurotic, and then when they're not met, or when something else happens, then I need to know why.
Just so everyone knows, and I think they know based on the amount of times I've had you back.
Yeah.
I am amused by it. I feel like it's just like a thing. It's a bit. It's almost, it's not exactly a bit, but it's almost. It's like, to me, it's all in good fun, and I find it amusing. I don't actually take any of it to
like,
heart.
Everything's a bit. Like, I hate this whole bit thing. I've been seeing it a lot. I have a friend who sends me memes about bits because I will be doing a bit and then they won't understand it. So, no, this is a bit. And then there's a whole sub meme culture about bits.
Does it exist just between you and this guy? No, he finds them. He finds them and shows them to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've also seen them elsewhere where you're like attuned to the bit.
You're like, what?
What?
What did you just say? You're attuned to the bit?
When you buy a car and then you see the similar car all the time.
Oh.
I see this bit culture everywhere now.
Are you talking about the TikToks that are like, I'm a sommelier. Here are the bits I like to do. And then they have like all their little jokes that they do with people when they're recommending wine.
Well, I think that's a part of it. Yeah, I think we've become more aware as a culture about these bits.
Right.
But I do bits even when I'm not necessarily doing bits. So I get upset, and I think everyone to a certain extent is doing bits almost all the fucking time. So I get upset when people will point out me doing bits as if you being nice, like me being mean or whatever, is somehow a bit, and then you being nice is the most genuine thing in the world.
Oh,
you know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah, they're both bullshit.
It's all a fucking bit. The shit you say to me in an elevator, making small talk with a stranger in an elevator, is the same level of bit as if the person farted in the elevator. You know what I mean? Instead of doing Pullman, this is where it's all coming from the same place.
Something you ate earlier?
Well, not by, I'm saying purposely.
Yeah. Oh, purposefully farting.
Yes.
Who does that?
I don't know. Sick people, but I'm saying they're both bits.
I don't know if I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I hear you. Let me take it back that it's a bit then. It's in good fun. I don't take it personally.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean to insult you. if that's what if that's what this person is getting at.
Yeah. They're saying
it's not done maliciously.
What they're saying is, why are you mean to me?
Well, I think was brought up in a family that doesn't seem to know another way of communication. That seems to be all we did. so much so that we have a very high divorce rate in our family.
Mm.
And I think it's from outside people going, I can't take this anymore. This is a lot.
Yeah.
And there's also the kind of the philosophy of, if I like you, I'll make fun of you to your face. If I don't like you, I'll make fun of you behind your back.
Mm.
You know, it's and then I certainly enjoy being made fun of by certain people in a certain way.
Yeah.
You know,
No, it's attention. It's someone paying attention. It shows someone's paying
Sure.
attention.
yeah, oh my God, yes. And that is the other thing, is that I'm not just like wantonously strolling in the studio and saying random shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's based in stuff I see or know, you know, about you or the stuff you're doing. So at least there's, you know, you do have my attention at the very least.
Thank you. I'll have you know, the apple of your eye, Robin Shore,
Yes.
was a little bit.
Dear Robin Shore.
Yes. Was a little bit taken aback by how Dalton was finding fault with my show.
Well,
Not you, but Dalton. And I had to explain to her, it's like someone farting in an elevator. And she didn't understand what I meant either. I'm joking. No, but I said like he always does that. I'm
yes,
amused by it.
I think he was absorbing and I think he likes to do that with me.
Yes. It's like a thing that you guys do when you come on.
Yeah. I
right.
think he does when I feel like he enjoys it gives him permission to be a shittier person.
Yes. Last question.
Oh God.
What?
I can't believe we've come to the end of this.
Well, I have one more in my back
Oh
pocket.
yeah, it's fine. Okay. Go ahead.
Tammy H, who is your favorite television character? What are your favorite television shows? Why do you like pop culture that is older than your generation?
What's the first one? My favorite television character?
Yes.
Jesus. That's a hard one. Would you count Rod Serling as a television character? I mean, when he would do those intros on the Twilight Zone, I think so. I've borrowed from him quite liberally when I'm doing backstage stuff.
Really? Like how?
Yeah. Well, I did a promo. What did we do? Double or Nothing. And they cut to me and I cut a little thing. And like, that's who I was in my head. I don't know what it came out like, but in my head, that's who I was
being
sort of channeling, that big epic. Yeah. It's fun to speak like him. Who else am I like? Oh, well, I mean, we should count like Dick Cavett.
Sure. Okay. I mean, these aren't characters. These aren't characters,
but... right? I always do love Sam the American Eagle from the Muppets. He looks exactly the way I want him to look. He looks so stern and wants things in order, and it's just great. And then it just comes undone. And it's just carved into his face, which is important. I wish I could be more serious, to have more impact when things unravel.
Like Sam the Eagle.
Like Sam, yes. He had a credibility that I lack.
Yes, he's trustworthy.
Yeah,
interesting.
What was the other one?
Favorite television shows and why do you like pop culture that's older than you?
I would say obviously The Twilight Zone. SCTV was like molded my brain as a child. You know, Muppet Show, Sesame Street, SCTV. Definitely those. And they're all, again, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
They're all putting on a show.
Yeah.
And so is wrestling. So none of this is far out of my wheelhouse at all. And then I do love those like, I don't know, Dark Shadows. It's another weird, I don't know why. And then I'll be into like the opposite of the thing that I'm into. And then why do I like pop culture that's older than me? I find it's a world that does not exist anymore. So it's already funny to bring it into this world. Number one, there are people, as dated as my references are, when I'm making jokes and when I've had to write stuff, I find it easier to make jokes about Don Knotts because people's perception of Don Knotts is not going to change. I was writing on a show. It was like a daytime show, and we were making a reference to Brad Pitt, and he was in the middle of some shit where he yelled at his kids on the plane or some whatever.
Yeah.
And we were all like, what do we do? Because this show comes out in 2 days and maybe it's
Right.
different. And then I'm like, that's why like Don Knotts wins. Like, sorry,
Right.
it's easier when they're dead.
They're more immune to cancellation.
Right. Because they're not alive.
Right. Interesting.
And then, dead people get canceled. I think Kate Smith got canceled.
Who's Kate? Who's Kate
She's
Smith?
in God Bless America for the Philadelphia Flyers. They always, that year they won the Stanley Cup, they brought her out. It was a whole thing. She was a belter, like an Ethel Merman. But I think she sang some songs that were racist, but they were also racist at the time. It's
Okay.
you're singling her
Got
out,
it.
you know what I mean? That whole whatever. I'm not going to get into that now. But those people also seem to be show business seemed to favor more distinct people
Mm.
than too. Like, what is an impression of Ben Affleck?
Right.
Seriously, I mean, I
Yeah.
can't tell you one
It's
thing to
interesting,
go
yeah.
on, and it's not a slight on him, But I mean, not to compare Don Knotts to Ben Affleck, but even a Jimmy Stewart or a James
Mhm.
Cagney or a whatever, like that's,
Right.
those are or Humphrey Bogart, like
They
those
were-
are really
And they were so much larger than life, too.
yes, and
Distinct
then
and
also
larger than
you
life.
go, there's an Ethel Merman who is another larger than life, and then singing wise, I feel like there's whatever the popular sound is nowadays. There's also 20 people who sound the same way.
Yeah.
And also the culture is fragmented now. So there's just a bunch more celebrities and they all have a very small slice of the pie. So it is really to just like harken back to the day of like, oh, this is a big deal.
hmm Yeah.
These people are really important, which makes it funnier that none of this is really important.
I see what you're saying, though. You missed the pageantry.
I miss the pageantry and the air of this is meaning. And maybe it only has meaning because I wasn't involved in it.
Mm.
I don't know.
Unrelated, but related slightly to the fact
Yes.
that you said maybe it only has meaning because you weren't involved in it. Daniel was saying to someone that he married up. It was meant to be a compliment, but he said he married up and she's just too broken to realize it. And I was like, hang on one second. I didn't say this, but I've been
That doesn't
thinking
sound
about
like
it.
an up to me.
Like, right. And also, I don't consider myself, of course, like I'm damaged just like everyone, but I don't,
Yeah.
and there's no way out of this because I can't go like,
Yeah.
excuse me, I'm aware that you married up,
Yeah.
but like,
No,
I was
sounds
like,
like
don't,
you married down. If you're too broken to realize it, I think you're a down. He's way ahead of you, it sounds like. If
He's-
his theory is correct,
I
then
think
you're a down.
I think he meant she's too broken to realize she can do better than me.
right? But then that's why you're a down.
Whatever it was pathologizing our relationship. Like,
Right.
I'm not with you because I'm broken. I'm with you
Yeah.
because I chose to be with you.
Yeah.
And like, I'm aware I have options.
Yes. I used to really, really have that up and down thing drilled into my head when I dated.
By whom?
And I
Oh.
would be like, oh, this is an up. This is a down,
Yeah.
Or it's not even a down so much as the other person is dating up. But also
that means they're a
depending on
down.
A million what?
But that would mean they're a down if they're dating up. Then you're dating
Yes, but
down.
it would depend on, I guess, a million different factors.
Okay.
It's not just to say this person's shitty and this person is not.
Right.
It could be this person just got out of a horrible relationship,
Mm.
or this person has more money than me, or this person is smarter than me, or this
Right.
person is in better shape than me. Like,
Has more followers.
yes, it depends on what factors you're looking at, because everyone's
Right.
up and everyone's down. And if you ask Daniel why you're up, I think he would reveal things that are important to him, values that he has.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't even think he really meant it that
Yes.
much. You know, I mean, yes, I think that he feels lucky to be with me.
Yes.
I have more of a public persona that I'm more of a
Yes.
public figure than he is.
Yes. And I think he also enjoys participating in it without having to be the center of it.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Without
yeah.
having his name on the podcast.
Right.
Yeah. I
Um,
also, well, my point is it's a very limiting way
Right.
to look at it because you can only draw on a certain number of factors.
yes. Yes.
I also, it was a joke I had where obviously, wrestlers date wrestlers.
Mhm.
And you can't, the best way to do it is just to date the most mediocre wrestler possible. Because you can't, if they're really bad, then like, oh my God, this person fucking sucks. Like,
Mhm.
this sucks. But if they're better than you, it's even worse. She just got really, the happiest relationships in wrestling are
Right.
between two completely average people.
Yeah. I feel like that's almost true of life as well.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, who appreciate? It's a good
What?
joke. Who did you
Thank
share
you.
this joke with? Other wrestlers, or was this like in your wrestling
Yes.
comedy?
No. I'm sure it'll come out on an episode of Hey at some point.
Okay,
I just haven't gotten there yet. I haven't
Yeah.
had too many couples on the show yet.
right.
But no, it's certainly come out.
Um,
And then the old joke is like, you're that person's shit. You just don't think so because you're dating them.
isn't like how good a wrestler is like sort of objective or no?
Yes, and people have opinions.
I see.
Yeah. No, it's not objective. None of this is objective. These aren't sports. Like you can't
Right.
say I hit
Right.
this many home runs.
Yeah, I guess, and like it depends on whether you're looking at what factors you're looking at too.
Right.
Yeah, I guess
I
you're
mean-
right because the outcome is predetermined, so it doesn't
Yeah.
have to do with their ability.
It's all personality driven,
Right.
really.
Well, solid point. I don't feel that I should be characterized as broken.
No.
Rest my case.
Yeah.
RJ, thank you so much. This has been it's longer than my Patreons usually are
Yeah.
because I think obviously I enjoy talking to you and it had been a
Sure.
while since you had been
Well,
on.
and I care about your listeners. I don't know what other shit they're getting on this Patreon.
Right. It's just an endless
me and Greg
parade.
Fitzsimmons.
of-
Aren't kids stressful? I don't know how often you can listen to that racket.
Well, that's not Patreon.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's my kids are killing me. What's the name of the podcast? Kids, huh?
I love your impression of it. Clearly,
Yeah.
you've never listened because mostly we just talk about butt stuff,
Yeah.
and like just it is very adult. It's mostly just about like
raunch.
it's
Yeah.
but it's silly raunch and
Right.
other stuff. It's like
saying all that jizz.
Yeah. So then about 35 minutes in, usually it'll be like, welcome to Childish, a podcast, like we'll remember what we're supposed to be doing.
Right.
So anyway, though, I get your point. That sucks. It's a parade of shitty
Sorry.
stuff.
And look at
So-
me. I'm preventing you from rapping. Wrap up.
It's
I won't
okay.
say anything else.
No, it's all right. So yeah, it's just this thing that is boring, this thing they've heard before, this
Right.
thing that sucks, this thing that's depressing. And then it's like, oh my God, a breath of fresh air. It's RJ
Right.
City and
Yeah.
his wonderful attitude.
Yeah. And then in 3 months from now, people will have more questions like, why?
Would just be why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never
did-
has my character been so scrutinized
Yeah.
than on this program.
Thank you for allowing yourself to be interrogated.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, this was delightful for me. And thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them plug your stuff, please. Oh, you like me to do
Really?
your plugs. You like-
Well, shouldn't the host?
okay. So please check out Hey EW every Sunday morning at the crack
Mhm.
of dawn.
Mhm.
And then after that, check out RJ Makes Coffee in His Underwear, where he
Mhm.
makes coffee in his underwear. And you can find that
Correct.
on YouTube. It's
Mhm.
live streaming. You can interact.
Yeah.
And then also, there's so much merch. There's new Wrestle Ants t-shirts. And I was
Yes.
like, it should be Wrestling Ants. This Wrestle Ants thing is, but I've decided I had to let that go. So I put
Mhm.
that behind me. It's a cool shirt. So you can get that at shopaew.com.
Wow, look at you.
Is that right? I pulled that.
This
I
is
pulled
great.
that out of thin air. Follow
The PR
him
guy's
on.
gonna actually like you now.
Follow him. He likes me already, right?
Not after this.
Follow him on Twitter,
Yeah.
sort of, at RJCity1. Follow him on Instagram at RJCity. Subscribe to his YouTube. He's now on Threads and also
Yeah.
on Blue Sky.
Yeah, well, remember when we were on Mastodon for a second?
Yes. I haven't checked it in
tried
a
our
long
best.
time. Daniel announced that he prefers Blue Sky, and I was like, well, sorry. Threads is
You can post video on Threads. Fucking game over. I don't know what else to say.
but also you can find the people that you want to they like automatically follow you.
Right.
That's the problem with Blue Sky is that you can't find the people that you're trying
but
to
I
find.
now realize how many people I have on mute on Instagram.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh my God, this person's still alive?
Yeah. I've only muted one person on Instagram. You taught me about mute on Instagram. I have a question though. So
Yeah.
after getting on Threads, all of a sudden I got a bunch of followers on Instagram.
Right.
If they follow you on Threads, do they is it an automatic follow on Instagram?
I don't think so. And I hope it isn't.
I think maybe I had it set so I was automatically following anyone on Threads that I'm following on Instagram. Maybe they
Yeah.
saw that I was following them and then they were like,
Yes.
oh, I didn't.
Yes. I
Yeah.
think they will certainly pop up if you're not following them. And I think people are inclined to. But I hope that's not the case. Because there's people I want to read and I don't want to look at their pictures.
And then there was a bunch of like requests that I had to manually approve, which was weird. I don't understand why this is over.
Yes.
Look at this. It's over. You guys, you're very patient if you're still listening. And I love you. And thank you for being my patrons. And if this ever ends up in a general feed, subscribe to my Patreon, patreon.com/Allison Rosen. Oh, and check out my merch. My merch store is up and it's great. And it's got new items being added all the time. But right now there's mugs.
Yeah.
There's t-shirts. There's hoodies. There's a tank top. There's notebooks. There's stickers. By the way, a lot of people wanted stickers. Seems like they don't want them now. I shouldn't even say that publicly, but guys, get
you can't listen to the people. You got to
get
put
the
out what you
sticker.
want.
I guess
Get
so.
a mug. Get a mug.
Yeah, do it. And go to AllisonRosen.com and click on the thing that says, my merch store is something about merch. Click on that. Okay.
Doesn't even look at our own site.
I don't. Yeah. Thank you, RJ. Listeners,
Yeah.
thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen Show?